Happy Sunday all, hope everyone had a good weekend. Thought I'd make a video today on some of the figures I'd love to see in the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones next year, with it being 2022. Hope you enjoy. So with obviously it being the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back this year, we did get some figures in the vintage collection. We did get a repack wave, but we didn't get near enough the amount of figures we should have done, really, considering the anniversary. The Black Series did get quite a lot of figures, which I did pick some of those up, and they were really good. But it would be nice to see if for Attack of the Clones next year they could perhaps pump some more figures out in the vintage collection. So I was having a think, just what figures would I love to see in the line, and so if we get started, these are some of the ones I'd love to see. So first of all, Newt Gunray. So they made a figure of this, obviously back in the Phantom Menace, because back then when you got your lines of Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, you used to get so many figures, even background characters, just like we did in the original Kenner line. And I'd love it if in the anniversary they would release this figure on their vintage collection packaging. So I've just put an image up on screen of just a sort of a photo from the movie, just as a rough idea what they could do for the card back. So then moving on to some of my other picks, I actually seen these photos, I believe Bamford School made them, and there's some card back designs which look really cool. Now first up is the Padme figure. So we did actually receive a Padme figure in the Black Series 3.75 line, and they could easily repack this into the vintage collection and put it on a vintage card. Next up is the Anakin Skywalker. So obviously we recently got the Peasant Disguise one, but it would be nice if they repacked the 3.75 figure from the Black Series and put it on a new card back as pictured on screen now. Then something I think we're really missing out on is some Geonosian figures. They were in the film a lot, and as far as I'm aware, we've not had any figures since probably the Legacy collection based on them. So as you can see here, I've got the Poggle the Lesser and Sun Fac figures. They're probably due an update. The articulation's a bit dated, but they could easily bring some figures out for these next year. And then some other missed opportunities would be Count Dooku, obviously the main villain of Attack of the Clones, and we've still not had him released in the vintage collection. I've seen a lot of people in the community do want this figure being released, and here's an image on screen now of one of Bamford School's designs on the card back, and it looks great. And then moving on, so repack opportunities. So obviously the Django Fett figure, they did release them in the vintage collection, but based on recent selling prices on eBay, you can go anywhere up to £150 from what I've seen. I really hope they do re-release this figure next year, as it would be a quick win for them. I'll be happy with the mould we've got now, but even better if they revise the mould like they have for the new Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. What was great about the vintage collection version of the Django figure was that it came with loads of accessories, so you could have your headset to go in Slave 1. Obviously there's a missile which removes, I believe, and a poncho as well. And then my final pick would be, so Zam Wesell. We did receive this one previously as well. They could easily get the mould out the archives, repack this one as well for us next year. So looking at vehicles then, it'd be great if we got some of these in vintage collection style packaging. So for the Saga line, when Attack of the Clones originally came out, they did do a Zam Wesell speeder, which still holds up really well to this day. I was thinking about picking one of them up, but how good would it be if they decided to release one of these in the vintage collection? Very good opportunity. And then next up would be, so the vintage collection Slave 1 we had recently. We did get years ago in the Clone Wars line, we got a repainted version of the vintage collection Slave 1 in the Django Fett colour scheme, and it would be great if they re-release this next year with the Django colour scheme in a vintage collection style box. But I can't really see that happening with them giving us the Empire Strikes Back version this year, but here's hoping. Another vehicle which I forgot to mention, which I would love to see, is the Republic gunship. I do have the Revenge of the Sith version actually, but they did one in the vintage collection which came with the ball turrets, and it would be great if they redid this next year and would just be an easy repack win. Thanks all for watching. I'd love for you to comment down below on some of the characters you'd love to see released in the vintage collection next year for the anniversary. Cheers guys, see you soon.